Bally Super Sonic. Start here on this battery. See the corrosion? See how it's growing green fur?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's always a bad thing. Game on, checking high voltage for the score displays. If you put your lead on the lower transistor here, you'll get the input voltage, 245 volts. Put it up here, you should get about 180 volts on that transistor, and look, I'm getting 4. So that means the high voltage section is smoked on this. Even though the score displays work, well, all except for one, we're going to have to rebuild the high voltage section on this board. High voltage section, I'm going to test the big transistor first. Meter set to diode, and we've got a dead short, 0.04 when I tested on this. So that, the big transistor is definitely shorted, and I suspect the little ones, the two little ones will be too. But this guy's dead. Probably these two. Always change R51, which is supposed to be 22K, always change him. Sometimes the pot is bad. The rest of it is usually okay. Here's one of the little transistors that I'm testing. And you can see it's a dead short too. So the whole high voltage section is smoked. Here's R51 testing, and it's open. It's supposed to be 22K, it's nothing. Here's the high voltage section, new transistor, new transistor, new transistor, new R51. Notice I got it, all the connectors off, except for this one. Everything's off.
That's why that one guy's
powered on, and then I can check voltages. The first thing I want to check is the high voltage, since that's what we did. So I put my probe on that transistor, and look, 181 volts. That's right where it should be, 181 volts. And then of course 5 volts over here, and 15 volts up here. So we're all good. Parts are replaced. Here's the big transistor and the two little ones, and the 22K ohm resistor and some connector pins on the rectifier board. I have the game in solenoid test, and this is interesting. You'll see that some things are repeating. For instance, watch this pop bumper upper right, it will repeat twice. Slingshot twice. Drop target reset twice. Now the reason why that happens is because the decoding on this connector has got a problem. See? I'll wait and see if I can wiggle it. Sometimes I can get a different response. Now let's check it again. No, still doing it. So we've got a decoding problem, usually on this connector or one of the MPU board connectors. This pin was out of the connector. This is probably part of the decoding on the solenoids. If it's missing a bit, there's 4 bits that come across, and they're encoded on the MPU board, decoded on this guy, and then the correct solenoid is done, and it goes through this connector. Well, comes out of the MPU board through this connector, comes over to this one, comes in, decoded, and then fires the right one. Well, in this case, it wasn't firing the right one because it was missing one of the bits, and I think maybe it was just this connector pin that was out of the plastic housing. That pin. Now watch the bumpers. Look at, they're all individually. We don't get any double bumps once on the drop target thing. All right. Yeah, it's I had to do some flipper work to it too, you know, which it definitely needed. Oops.